Yo, everybody, welcome everybody to the Aether's Workshop Starry Eyes, the podcast where we review your pixel art and we can give you tips and tricks on how to get better. I am Spritester, creator of Olympia. We have Wishstream, creator of Astra, and we also have Geek, creator of Marlo. Did you guys like the link?
I'm here now.
you just teleport in and that's your intro. Oh boy.
I can't help it.
Yeah. It's just part of the moveset. You can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, Wish got better. Yeah. Everyone's been like burnt out and all that good stuff. We're a bunch of busy people, you know? But we heard you guys want more content and we're here. It's not like we got a backlog or anything. Anyway.
Anyway.
But let's go ahead and get straight into it. And we're going to go into the first animation. And it looks like we got our... it's been a while since we've seen a lot of quadrupeds lately, hasn't it? Like in Workshop.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because nobody wants to animate legs.
I mean, yeah. But I'm glad someone else is taking up the mantle, because that's going to be our first submission for tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like animals.
Animals are cool. This one's got a sword in his mouth.
That's dangerous. They shouldn't be carrying that. What if they cut themselves?
No, the sharp part is pointed away.
Oh. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Who would like to go first for this one?
I love it.
So, Wish, go for it.
That. Okay, alright, first of all, this is one of those where it's like, you know how when we keep saying subtle movement with subpixeling? Yeah, this is one of them.
Yeah.
And subpixeling isn't just, you know, moving the shading of an animation, it's also just moving the lines just a little bit.
Yeah.
This is one perfect example. Dar, you always keep blowing me away. Every time. I swear. Even that sword you managed to make look flexible and move properly. Amazing. What about you guys?
Okay, so I just want to point it out. If you can't really tell what we mean by subpixeling, look at, like, I don't know how to phrase this better. Look at their butt. Look at the top of their butt. And, like, the top row of pixels there just kind of, like, shrinks and grows and stuff. If you just look at that part, then it looks kind of weird, but as a whole, it gives the sensation of moving down very slightly.
Yeah.
They're, like, that's what subpixeling is.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want a very subtle motion, just make the edges shrink. Just make points shrink, and make them grow on the other end. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe Geeks wants us to look at butts.
Can't say that.
Also, something I noticed, the tail kind of snaps when the animation moves. Like, other than that, it's freaking perfect, but it, like, on the last frame to the first frame, it just kind of boop a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does, but it might be on purpose if it's gonna be selling that motion, actually.
Yeah,
Right.
it does look pretty snappy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, like, jarring.
Yeah, it's not jarring at all. And also, I just noticed that feather also on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was just like a fourth ear or something.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's a pretty good animation. I actually don't really have much to say to it. I would have attacked this a lot differently as far as like how the idol would be, like the pacing of it. But the pacing for this looks just great. The tail is like probably the only thing I would like add an extra frame to and kind of just like make the loop a little bit more seamless. But as a Geek said, it's fine as is. Well, Geek and Wish, it's fine as is.
Mm-hmm. It's fine as is. It's one of those where it's just really at this. I mean, we can't really point anything out.
Oh,
I mean, Dar, you guys literally just show us this, and like we're just gonna crash over our DMs.
Yeah.
oh, guys, have you noticed her? I'm assuming it's a she. The eye has like squash and stretch when it blinks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
heck.
big for a second. Boing.
Whoa!
But, like, I would never think to do that, but that adds so much character to it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's puppy.
Yeah,
Puppy.
it is a puppy.
Yeah,
Also, weird little detail. I keep pointing these out, but the side of the thigh lacks an outline, which kind of implies. I mean, like Rivals doesn't have outlines on parts that are directly connected to each other, and I would assume that would mean like the top of the top of the leg would have no outline, since that's usually where the tailbones are.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of gives the impression that it's connected to the side of them, and it's kind of weird. I don't know. I would look into that.
Yeah.
It's not a huge
Yeah.
deal. It still looks great, but like if something feels slightly off, check that out.
Mm-hmm. A good reference point is actually, did you know that humans have a tailbone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it breaks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you fall backwards, ow! There goes your tailbone.
Yeah. So yeah, look it up, and where is that positioned? That should help you basically position where the tail should be on most of creatures, really.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
just a little bit of anatomy thing.
Mm-hmm. Your little fun fact from Wish. All
Yeah.
right.
Overall, great submission. Like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, dude. Finish the character, please. Anyway, we're gonna go over to our next character, and we got
Cool, I'm
ourselves
gonna
a
close the
little.
door. Be right back.
Yeah. We got ourselves a walking animation. Gotta blow him up a little bit. It's very clear where this guy's inspiration came from. Don't you agree?
I mean, I guess.
There's a lot of Star Wars going on here. And I don't know. It's is that Avatar? Who is that man? Is that Marth from Star Trek? Oh, you guys are great.
You guys have good humor.
Yeah. But
All right.
this has a good little bit that we can talk about for this submission. There's a lot of like beginner / intermediate errors that happens here. It's a good submission as far as like getting the idea that you want in. Like it's a good starting point, but I feel like there's a lot more that you can take with this. I'm going to actually like limit myself to just saying one thing, and I'll just let everyone have a turn this time. The biggest thing that I would say personally would be like the torso area. There's very clear shoulder movement here, like the shoulders are moving, but the torso is like completely stationary. There's like no turn of the torso, even though the shoulders are turning as well. Like you can still like turn a little bit of your shoulders without actually like moving your like chest, but even then it's not going to stay in one place. There's always going to be like a slight rotation, like a slight turn of it. because it's all connected to the spine. There's no like your spine will always move with, right? When you're turning your shoulders and things like that. A shoulder turn would be definitely like needed for this. I would actually like not do the head turn with that either, because this character seemed very very stern and mysterious. You know, it probably wouldn't fit the personality if the entire upper body was turning with it. Seems that this character would be very focused on whatever he's walking at. So I would actually just focus more so on the torso turning with the shoulders instead of it just being still. All right, Wish, what do you got?
All right, what I got? Okay, I'm gonna tell you on the positives first. You actually did it pretty good. Like, you know, the entire thing, pretty good.
Yeah.
But one thing that bothers me, and it's probably because I deal with a lot of like moving clothing.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah. Okay, alright. So first of all, you'd want to make sure that your cape doesn't sync up perfectly to like your legs. It makes it a lot more stiff. You'd want to desync them just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Since like, you know, clothing, especially capes, will move on its own, not along with the body. And what you could do is either basically desync the entire thing, just maybe move it a few frames forward. If you have this on a separate layer, good on you. If it's not, then I'm horribly sorry that you might have to redraw everything.
Yeah.
And another thing is that capes don't expand like that when walking, right?
Yeah.
When you walk, they keep like grounded. I'm trying to find a perfect word. It's just like flowing down. They don't like flare out like that.
Yeah.
Unless like you're doing like a massive action, like maybe like a sword swing, right?
They oscillate.
So yeah, pretty much oscillate. And also how do I point this out? Right, they're weighted, right? When we say oscillate, like the top moves first, then the rest follows, right? So you could use that as a reference, like maybe a waving flag, and just put it on like behind the character. But also look up like references of people walking with capes, because they really help a lot more. And that's pretty much what I got to say.
Yeah. Is Geek back? There we go.
I was just being quiet.
Yeah.
My advice, I know. Okay, that color palette's nice, but I would kind of make the black a little lighter, because like it's a little hard to tell. It's like it kind of blends in with the actual outline part, which you probably don't want in a game where clarity is important, especially with a big old cape like that. It's gonna make it a little hard to read. Like, just make it a little lighter gray. Just a little.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, and the other guy's critique, I don't have a whole lot to point out.
I mean, like, sure, we could, like, critique like, go over the top on how to, like, maybe an alternate pose on this, but really, it's just what Spar said. Really, the shoulder. Move the shoulders.
Yeah.
Move the shoulders, and especially the chest. Right? When you're walking, unless you're really trying to put your hands on towards the side, they subtly move forward. Like even try yourself out, like the pose itself, it will move. Other than that, yeah. And then there's a cape. Just make sure that they don't sync up with the movement, because one, they'll obviously feel stiff.
Yeah.
And two, that's not how a cape works. And also, they don't flare up like that. So yeah. Also, fun fact: a lot of artists do this. That pure black, like the black, usually isn't pure black.
Yeah.
And they are usually lighter, and that's why, like, if you've seen scenes where it's just pure black and somehow they have shadow, it's that because they brighten up the black more but fill a lot more black in the surrounding area. So yeah, or sometimes they don't even use black. They sometimes use like dark gray or dark blue in some circumstances, even dark red or dark yellow. Experiment. See what works with the character.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We can move on to the next one.
You gotta get a little bit to go with, but that's always good. Just because we're given a lot of like different things doesn't mean that like you gotta be discouraged. Keep on going, dude. That's how you improve.
Also, yeah.
But let's go over to our.
I need to point this out.
Yeah.
From the chat. Also, near black colors are glitchy in Rivals.
Yeah.
There we go.
Weird.
All right.
Only go for near black if you really plan on not changing them, like I do with Olympia. That's why her like tube top thing. I don't know, I honestly can't tell you what that is, but like that's the reason why it's like a very dark gray, because I do not plan on it being changed at all. Like that's always going to be that same color. I'm not going to mess with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And as a bonus, you didn't really have to put outlines on it because it was already an outline.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's go over to our next one. Yo-Yo is big. What the hell? Dude. Times 300, please. It's always great.
Small.
No, it was big. I had to like shrink it down and then blow it back up again. But yeah.
Large.
We got ourselves I know about this new rework, visual rework on Yo-Yo, everyone's favorite stickman. And
yeah, I also knew about it.
Very exciting stuff. He puts in a lot of work. He has shading now. You guys requested it. But
shading on a stick.
I mean, they did it.
Like that, I guess.
It's unbelievable. Shading on a stick, but in stick fights they don't shade it. How dare you? That's unfaithful. No.
This is HD.
But anyway, all right. I want to point out before you guys start, putting onto this. I absolutely love the end part of it because it looks like they're just like slowly moving back into position.
Oh yeah.
Or like if you look at from a small distance, it's like growing back from an intense action back to a smaller size. But I'm sure that's not the case. It's them moving smoothly back into like position. Great.
Yeah.
All that's right. What you extremes and this is the pinnacle of knowing how to make proper keyframes. Like you can't just do this by just drawing a bunch of shapes and just like, well, that's what the pose is supposed to look like, better move on to something else. Like this has like a lot of thought behind it, and that kind of like thought and planning makes very dynamic and very interesting poses. And this is one of them. Just how it's all like planned out. So just like an all advice thing, do not be afraid to like look up ways to like create more dynamic and more like interesting poses, or just how to plan poses out, because that will help you out a lot. Everyone can throw the same punch, but if you just pose it differently, that's all the difference. But yeah.
Anyway, to expand on what Spar said, if you've seen like animators, you see like numbers on the lower right side. That's them pacing their keyframes out.
Yeah.
And this is one of those where if you actually pace out and plan out your keyframes, it'll look as smooth and nice as that with less keyframe, with a lot less frames than you think.
Yeah. That's called a timing chart.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Geek?
Honestly, I'm having a little bit of trouble parsing what the actual motion is, especially at the end. Like, at the start, it's like, okay, he might be twirling around him. I'm not sure. He might be twirling. It's really hard to tell because, well, stick. And then at the end, it just... I can't really tell where he's moving. Like, it just kind of, like, morphs. I don't know if he's actually...
I think it's like a sudden stop in midair.
Yeah.
Like they physically try to stop in midair.
Yeah, it just feels weird. It just turns into a mess of limbs for a couple frames and then it's back to normal, I guess. I mean, I could look at it in frame by frame and see exactly what's going on, but it's not the clearest. I don't know. Like, I'm mainly trying to track his head, and it feels like it just kind of absorbs into his body and pops out at the top.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Like the
animation came from another action, right? It feels kind of like that.
Kinda. Like I can kind of parse that the legs are like flipping over the top back into position, but that's about it.
I think what's really killing it for this animation is that the shading is like there's not enough contrast.
Yeah, and the shading disappears for frames, like when they're settling back into the idle air, like the shading just disappears, and then when it restarts back.
Yeah.
Boop. I don't know, like good job, but it's not that clear for me. I don't know.
I agree with Geek on this one. It's not a little bit clear, but you did it right though.
Yeah.
It's just not clear enough, I guess.
Like there's a hell of a lot of line of action going on until it transitions back into idle, and then it's just scribbles. It's just
fair. That's fair. Yeah. How about you, Spar? Do you have anything to add to that or no?
Let's see. I think what I would say is that, like, I'm like trying to think on a proper solution for this to help with this animation. So how I'm reading it is that Yo-Yo is leaning forward into like a straight line, like straight horizontal, and he's spinning as he's doing it, and that's where the yo-yo is like spinning around with him, and then like snappy like flip back over, like front flip into settling into the falling animation. I think the biggest thing that I would incorporate is add like a very subtle smear to the legs to help show that spin, because the shading, the only reason that you know that like the legs are moving with it, because the head there's no face, so you don't know where it's going, right? It's always going to look like it's going to be like it always looks like it's going to be stationary, because that's just kind of how stick figures work. There's no like contour or anything. It doesn't have like facial structure and all that good stuff, so it's just like orb. And that's kind of hard to animate with shading on how to spin if there's like no like divots or anything in the surface. The legs though, that's where the other place where the spin would be at. But like with the low contrast, it's not low contrast, it's just not enough contrast. Mixed in with like there's no like divide in the. There's no outline with the legs either. It's just like the shade.
Yeah.
If you're gonna keep that, I would definitely say to add a little bit of some smearing on the edge, and I mean like subtle, right? Like I don't want you to go crazy with this. Just keep it small. The main smear should be the yo-yo, but like just something to show that the rest of the body is spinning as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like an easy situation, an easy solution without like going back in and like adding a bunch of like lines you probably don't want to put there anyway. A rotating smear around the legs and maybe one around the head, but very, very subtle of some sort, or just add like, I don't know what to do with the head honestly, but I think the legs will be the easier thing to add to.
I would say like don't even do like a smear, just kind of break the body a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to like stick figures are basically just line of action, just with some extra sticks on it.
That is true.
And, like it feels like if you just kind of try out a couple of those frames again, and then just start with a line of action that actually start with just the head and like a line representing the torso and all that. You probably already know that.
Yeah.
Just kind of do the flip in that and make that clear, and then have everything else contribute to that.
Yeah.
Very much. Huh?
But yeah, let's
Yeah.
a lot of words were being said. But yeah,
I like words.
Yeah. Let us go to our next animation, and whoever's working on this animation, I want to call you out a little bit, because you named your file easygif.com-gif maker. Name your files, please. But yeah, we got a intro animation for a Bandana D mod. And I am digging the kind of energy you're aiming for this. Like, I see a lot of Bandana Ds in my day, and they're always stick to like the cutesy version of them, which is great and all. No, nothing wrong with that. However, it would always be like interesting to add like the more kind of like the Bandana D is just an enemy, right? Like it started off as an enemy before it became like the cult like fan favorite that it is now. And this shows like that kind of like, all right, I'm ready to fuck shit up kind of like mentality that like
they have been battle tested after being defeated by Kirby.
Yeah, exactly.
Several times.
And
I'm not afraid to run away from the ship anymore.
I got a stick.
Put a rock at the end of it.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, I just love the energy that this Bandana D has. It's very different than other Bandana Ds I've seen.
Yeah, it feels like the Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Workshop Kirby. Like, because like this is not your usual rival shading. It really sticks faithfully to.
Yeah, this is the this is like the Superstar whatever the Kirby Superstar or whatever the
Superstar Ultra.
Yeah, that one.
Here you go. Yeah.
It
also
is
faithful is the 1 pixel outline, the foot going down.
Yeah.
It's gonna hang over the ledge a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say my first little thing, because that's the first thing that I noticed, and would definitely help if you fix this. Add some overshoot for the swing, because what we got right now is that when Bandana D grabs the spear and swings it around, it just stops, right?
Oh yeah.
It would help so much if, like, when the swing goes out, there's like a frame where it goes a little further than it needs to back and then goes back down. Because there's very clear force behind the swing with like the big smear and all of that, and just how the body is turning. That overshoot would be perfect for this because that shows the weight of the swing as well. And you already have a halt there too, so it's not like you're gonna be losing like time with it. It can be like one frame, overshoot, back, and then you keep everything as normal. That would be my one thing. So, what do you guys think?
I'm looking at
For me,
it.
I'd recommend the opposite, actually. Sometimes, well, this is only if you're going for a really edgy bandanity, right?
Yeah.
You can change the timing where the swing goes completely fast and then like it just stops at the last frame for a good moment and then goes back to idle. It's just like one of those like Japanese poses where
Oh yeah, where it just like flashes.
yeah.
It's like, oh, they swung it too fast for you to see. Ooh.
Yeah,
Now the
like
cheese cut in
completely-
half. Oh.
But that's a completely edgy, bandanity.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
saves on
I
animation
don't
because they
really
don't have
have
to
any
animate the swing.
other recommendations to point out because like it's already good,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, I can't really point out anything. It's good.
Mhm.
I mean, besides the one pixel foot hanging over the ledge, but I'm sure you know about that already.
Yeah.
It's an orthographic perspective. Doesn't happen.
But yeah,
I'm completely speechless on this one.
Yeah.
did a fantastic job on this. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna move over to our next one. I'm sorry, Sai, but we gotta make this quick. You've already released this fucking character, man. Like, come
Oh my
on.
god.
This is the nth time you released a character and then
Like, it's
you
very
release a character before we can review it.
like it's very clear that you work extremely fast, man. Just DM us, all right?
I don't think they want critique. I think they just want to show off.
Yeah.
Cool, nice advertising, dude.
You've already made it to like the top of the charts for the week, man. What the fuck? But yeah, no. There is one very crucial thing about this animation. It grows.
Big! Oh my god, you're right.
There's a bit of it where it just gets too big.
Oh, he's large, yeah. The
Like-
entire sprite grows.
Like 5% bigger, maybe 10%. And yeah, like if it was like any other character, if the gimmick was that this character just grows in size with every hit, which there are characters that exist like that. Seth from Street Fighter 5 does that. Specifically Street Fighter 5 because he hasn't done it in Street Fighter 4. But
That's weird.
yeah, that's because he copies abilities that are kind of really big, like Abigail, and in order to replicate that move like accurately, he has to grow in size in order to accommodate. So like,
That's weird.
yeah, but it's cool. Yeah. But that's only if the character had that like gimmick going on. That's something you gotta plan ahead, and even then when you're doing it, you gotta be like, okay, this is the attack I wanted to grow large, this is the attack I'll make it like not grow, like things like that. I'm sure this one isn't that way, but it's just something that you gotta keep in mind. Things happen a little too fast in Rivals. And unless we're looking at it like we're looking at it now, or in Olympia's case, just a lot of keen eyes, because Olympia had a lot of growth in her aerials as well. It's just something you gotta keep in the back of your head while you're working on things. Otherwise, it's a great animation. Literally nothing else I can say about it that'll make it even better. It just has that Psy feel to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, also, before we move on to the next animation after this, there is the complementary character to this. It's just not released yet, and I'm still working with it.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge. Alright. To the next one.
Alright.
Go, 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 go.
We got ourselves a jab combo for our favorite NES rep, Nick. I hope I said his name right. Let me double check. It is Nick. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you finally know how to call them.
Yeah. So we got ourselves a nice jab 1 to 2. Interesting turn on the second hit. I like it.
Hit him with the knuckles.
Yeah, like the spin knuckle. I'm quite sure that's not the term for that attack, but I do like it.
Yeah.
I don't really have much opinion in this. And I could reference Scott Pilgrim. I mean, other than like, you know, mirrors having outlines, I don't really have much to say.
Oh yeah, the smear does have an outline to it.
Oh, it does. Sin.
Yeah.
Verdict.
Verdict sin.
My main beef with this, I don't know, my main critique point is that for the first punch, you might be able to get a lot more range out just by twisting his torso, because he doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
Like, he twists a lot for the second punch, that's cool, but the first punch is just, like, he's not rotating his shoulders at all, and it's limiting his range a lot.
See, I thought it would be, it'd be cool to be like that, because, like, first of all, they have the embodiment basically NES, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like, NES animation don't works like that. But at the same time, and then you turn the body, then that's when I question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be okay with the first punch if the second punch didn't twist him out that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got it. I don't see anything else to point out on this one.
Captain Technicality in chat has a good point too. The wind-up on the first punch doesn't feel very clear to me. I don't know if the experts feel the same. I do. Am I an expert?
We all do. I definitely feel it.
Yeah. I think it's just because it's just one frame of wind-up, which, I mean, it's a fighting game. Of course you're gonna have one frame of wind-up, but I don't know. It feels like there could be more of a tell to it.
Oh, I know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong with it. I know what's fucking wrong with it.
What?
The punch is supposed to be a straight punch. It feels like it's supposed to go directly forward, but the arc is like, it looks like it goes over.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
Like, if you're trying to follow that same like arc, then I would recommend you, instead of having it be like a just like a straight punch after the smear, just have it follow it going down, like have it be like a downward hook.
Mm-hmm.
And that would like clear up that it's like rifles balance. Like the thing that comes to mind is not the thing that's actually the problem. It's like something else that's like very near it. It's not the wind up itself, but it's actually the result of the punch. It doesn't match up. So either you can change the smear so it'll follow the straight line, smears going forward is still a viable strat. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Or you could change the pose of the punch so it can be arcing downward instead of being straight forward. Either or, that will fix that issue.
Yeah. Also, which is my god.
Oh no. Another big issue, the startup is kind of hidden behind his head. I mean, that's kind of how it is when it comes to like trying to animate with the back arm first.
Yeah.
The only thing that would like fix that per se is to give more turn of the torso so you can see more of the fist. But even then, like, I don't know. I think it's more so that like the result of the punch is very like I don't want to say it's muddled because it's a clear punch, but like the transition between like the wind up and then on top of the smear and then the punch that we do get, it's a lot of conflict of interest here.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like the critiques, like our critiques are actually pretty minor ones. They're pretty like advanced, I guess.
Yeah.
You're getting really good at this.
Yeah, and if you really want us like to get more opinions on it, you really have to point out what specific problem you have for the animation and see if we could confirm it or suggest something alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something I just noticed. His front leg shrinks.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It loses mass for a couple of frames. Yeah. Move them pixels out. Move those pixels out, homie.
Yeah, you don't need to redraw for every frame. Like, you're animating the leg a little more than you actually need to, especially for an animation like this. Just copy and paste, please. It'll save you so much time and it'll look fine.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Still a great animation. And oh boy, this next one is one I'm still conflicted with. Oh boy.
Oh, aren't we both? Because we both know how it works too.
Oh man, like here. Let me explain how conflicted I am with this. Out of all the freaking Darkstalker characters, Morgan has always been the one character that has always gotten a new like pose, right? Well, new like sprite. There's always been the meme that Capcom just doesn't want to bother fixing Morgan. This is why they always like make new fucking games, but they use the same Darkstalker sprites every time. This is one of those things. The motion that's going on here on the arms, it's fine, it's passable, right? But there is a very common thing in the pixel art community where when they're re-spriting Morgan, they just go ham with like giving the rest of her body the same movement. Like, whoever's working on this animation, I want you to do some homework and just like look up like fan-made Morgan sprites. And I want you to look at how the legs move specifically, because some of the idle animations that they do for it like add like some nice like bend to the legs that show off like the personality of Morgan, as well as make the idol more lively than it already is in the base game. Capcom kind of like fixed that problem a little bit by giving Morgan like an overlay of effects, and that just makes it look a little more lively. But honestly, it just makes you not look at the legs not moving. That's all that it does. Like, if there's gonna be effects over this like it does in like Marvel vs. Capcom, then it's fine. But like, no effects, you're gonna have to do something with the legs, homie. Like, please do something with the legs. It's not gonna look right without it. Just like do some bending or some. Just the arms are okay. Do something with the legs, please. Which sucks, cause like this character, like Morgan is like 40% leg. Like, come on. just move the legs, please.
I feel this so much. I feel this so much.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like the arms are like 60 FPS, but then the rest is just it's scary. It's like Silent Hill
that's the
animation.
problem because fucking Morgan actually does this. It hurts.
The sprites actually look like this, and this is the case where every time we get like a reference character or something like that, we always say this, where being accurate to the source material sometimes is not the good take in the situation. Like,
yeah, just look at Shovel Knight.
Yeah, look at Shovel Knight and look at Ori. Like, well, Ori less so, because Ori's animations in Ori and the Blind Forest are pretty top notch, but they're also like physics based, so they got a lot of wiggle room to work with that. But like for Shovel Knight, there's a lot of like creative liberties that happen there that still represents the base game, like what Shovel Knight comes from, and it looks phenomenal. It's okay to take creative liberties on these things, and for someone who is super passionate about fighting games, Skullgirls and Darkstalkers specifically, take those creative liberties, man. We don't got much. Just seeing something new and interesting and eye-popping you're gonna get praise for it. No one's gonna be like, oh, you did different. No one cares. Make it good. Just make it good.
Yeah.
Also, I see someone in the chat is like, now I want to make double. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, you do not.
No, you don't.
Not only are you gonna, you say that and then you animate double and then you realize that all of her animations are all types of weird. Not to mention that you have to animate up to 6 other characters with their other moves. It's fine when those characters were already made, but now you have to do them individually. Unless you do like a weird thing where it copies rivals characters, and I'm like, But yeah, going back to topic. Move legs, please.
Move like it's a stick figure, please.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap on the animation on a stick figure. It's a stick.
But what do you guys got? I know I kind of spilt my heart on the fucking table for that one.
Honestly, I would have done the same thing. Morgan! Come on!
Morgan hasn't gotten a new sprite in like 20 years, man. Like,
and somehow they managed to fuck that out on the 3D counterpart too. And they had all the chances to freaking animate the legs for once. Anyway.
Yeah. That's a surprising amount of stuff you said for a stick figure.
yeah, I'm very passionate about Darkstalkers. I'm sorry.
So other than that, I didn't know, but they sure do have beefy arms.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too beefy for a stick figure, but it's up to you. Me. You already got the thighs going. It's really up to you, but if all honesty, it's really just the motion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, once you got that down, everything else will probably fix itself. Likely.
Yeah.
I'm saying probably because not a lot of people could pick out the minor details once they do it. Alright.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next?
I just want whoever's working on this character to like blow people out of the water with this, because I don't want a situation where someone see these animations like, I could do this better. Like, that's, no one likes that feeling. Just go balls to the wall, just blow it out the water, just be as extra as fucking possible. It's a stick figure. Come on, man. Like, show off, man. Just
Yeah.
Just do it.
Stick figures are meant to be bombastic.
Yeah, like,
Even the subtle things.
you're only animating like 3 characters, like, not 3 characters, 3 colors in total. Like, go balls to the wall with this shit, man. You will not regret it.
Look, I know simpler character designs, like way simpler and stuff like that, is tempting because it's like, oh, it's easy to draw. They're easy to draw because they're animated super, like it's compensated by the animation being super top notch.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the animator being lazy, it's them budgeting it.
Yeah.
So you can't, if you're gonna cheap out on one aspect, i.e. making it a stick figure, you better make up for it.
There's a reason why the bar was set so high with Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then every other like stick figure that came out in concept. But like, listen, if you're, I have a philosophy when I make designs for characters. I make this for like my mascot, Sprite Star, or Ren, or however you want to like name them in that situation. I've done that with Olympia. I've done that with like every character I've made, and I've just kind of like doubled down on that as of recently. But I have one very simple and very crucial law when it comes to me like making characters, and that's easy to draw, easy to animate.
Yeah.
You can make characters with like designs and all this interesting stuff, but you gotta be able, I feel like my philosophy behind it is, if you're making a character and you want to animate them, you better make sure that you can make as many animations as you can before you get burnt out on just looking at this character. Like,
Yeah.
the 3D games it's the literal only time where that's the exception, and that's because all the details are just there ready to be modified at any given moment. 2D animation? Fuck that. No, I am not animating a Monster Hunter character with that shit. No, I'm not doing that. That's way too many things. And simplifying it is just gonna make it worse because it's a fucking Monster Hunter character. Like, that's not the point. But like, easy to draw, easy to animate. If you're gonna, you can make an animation with like an intermediate, well, like a medium level of detail, and you'll get some good results. Very simple stuff like stick figures like Yo-Yo and stuff like that. Fucking animation is gonna be so great because like you're worried more on the animation than the detailing of itself, and then over detailed stuff, you're never gonna fucking finish it.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. That's what makes stick fights really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, except for the detailed part, and suddenly they have a detailed face.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, I'm reminded of who was it again? Alpha? FFL? That guy who suddenly has a very detailed face. It's right. Right, moving on.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap up this podcast with one last animation. And we got ourselves a Scooter Boy.
Yeah,
Scooty. With the
It's-
verbs.
It seems to be a dash animation. I honestly couldn't tell you what this is. It could be like a dash attack, actual dash. I don't know.
Could be an up throw.
Forward special.
Forward special.
Forward
It could be forward special. I don't know.
file name.
That guy's
What's the name?
banned? What happened to him? What?
Oh my god, what? Who posted this? Hold on.
The guy's
Another-
banned.
oh my god, what did he do? Probably shouldn't go into detail on stream, but what the fuck? Okay.
Alrighty. Do we
Let's
still
not
do this?
that one.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
We're,
What's the next animation?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to our next animation because this is a very weird case. We don't know how to attack this, so we're just gonna find the next one down the list. And I already found it. So yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry you got banned.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, buddy. Here we go. Going back to this character. Let me drop this in the thing because I just remembered my other co-host. Oh, there it is. Am I the co-host or are you guys the co-host? We've never gotten a fucking answer for
this.
That's fair.
You're all the host. It doesn't matter who.
I'm holding up my hostage.
Meanwhile, it's like, your podcast, don't you mean our podcast, comrade?
So, yo.
So it's my turn on the podcast.
Alrighty. Oh, love this character whenever he pops up.
Oh yeah, this is a nice little animation too.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's not done yet. I can't see. I don't see any like idle frames or anything, but it does kind of snap back a lot.
Oh yeah, there's no there's no in frames for this. There's no return to frame.
Yeah, there's no end frames, and it feels like it's not just a case of like not clarity. It feels like it just ends early.
Yeah.
Especially in relation to projectile. I don't know. Feels like there should be another frame. Oh yeah, the projectile placeholder.
That's fine. Placeholders are fun when these kind of animations, but like the motion of the main animation is what we're aiming for specifically for this for these critiques. I do agree.
Or that's actually snapping.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know if it's like if it's intentionally snapping. It's very weird that would be the case for this.
I need to break this down in A-Sprite. Hold up. It's
feels,
one of those where I can't really tell.
It feels like it's missing context. Like, I need to see idle for this. I need to see what it transitions back into.
It is why I'm going with A-Sprite over here. You guys are gonna figure it out. Daga. The background. Open. Save file.
Oh, so something I did notice though, something I want to point out that's just really cool. Look at the tail; it's so flowy. It conveys motion so well.
Yeah,
it's like,
so good.
It's a little squiggly thing. It's a little signature. It forms a shape. I like shapes.
This is yet another great example of secondary motion because the tail is doing that. The tail and the cape are the secondary motion for this, and it shows the direction where the arm is going, and it shows where like the force is being thrown at, and that's important. But yeah,
Yep. It doesn't return to neutral. It's really just a looking at the animation one way. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay, I just set A-Sprite to play once, and it just hits everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just not finished.
What do you call this? If people think there's a snap back in between, it doesn't exist when you play it once for.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is like the last frame loops back to the first, so it looks like the last frame is like the pre-motion to the first frame. So yeah, pre-motion. Yeah, I said that.
I don't know.
Wind up. Yeah, it looks like a wind up to the first frame, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, a good point in chat. This is why I always add a part of an idle animation on my animation. Yeah, because like especially in fighting games, like animations need a sort of context for that. Like an animation can look great, but then if it just completely snaps back to idle, like that's a completely different pose, it'll look weird. Like it does here. Like even with this animation, even not returning to idle or anything, I am imagining the context that you are like spamming F special or whatever with this move, and in game it is going to snap like that if you do that. So be wary about that. Add lag frames.
That's the weird thing about this like submission specifically. That's the only thing that's wrong with it. Like,
Yeah.
the flow of this action is so fucking good. It just doesn't have the return back to idle. Like that's the only thing that is missing, and it would be like top notch, fucking chef's kiss, just amazing, like round of applause. It just doesn't go back to that idle.
I would add on to that. Look into making the head motion smoother because it kind of jerks around a little bit, and also the ears don't move at all. That I can tell the head is just being shifted around.
Yeah.
Probably flesh that out a little bit because heads are important. That's where they show expressions. It just kind of feels like it's floating on top of the rest of his body, and if it is, cool. If it's not, then you might want to convey that better.
Yeah. I would actually throw this out here just to implant this idea in your head. So, your next quest as a pixel artist is to make some return to idle frames for this, right? Now you got two methods that you can take this, and this is the part of the segment of the podcast where it's like, okay, which one are you gonna do? Are you gonna do the easy way or the spar way, right? So the easy way is just to draw the frames, just go back into idle, right? Like stay the same, like still facing the same direction, just moving the legs back to where they need to go, and just like, you know, just filling between that gap between the last frame of this attack and to the idle, right? Now there's also the spar way. So with this animation, it seems like this character moves back a little bit because of the force. That's where I'm like seeing all the motion going at, right? Like the cape is moving towards the front, like going towards the right, which means visually it looks like this character's doing a little hop towards the left, right? So the spar way of doing it, make him twirl back to idle.
Like speed.
Just circle around.
Yeah. Like, it may not be part of the personality of this character or whatever, but like, he's floaty. He's a floaty boy. Just do a turn. Pirouette. Don't do that. But like, do something. That's the spar way. You got two options now.
On a scale of geek to spar, how much effort are you putting into animation?
I'm so glad that Wish is always going to be the mediator between that.
Yeah?
I don't mind.
5.0.
Yeah. I am the 5.0 suggestion. if I'm the 5.0 suggestion, does that mean you just spin halfway?
No, you do a little.
Spin halfway.
No, you do a little hop.
Give it a little hop.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Actually, that works. Yeah. Surprisingly. It's a little hop, or like just a little bit of overshoot before going back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And didn't expect that to actually work. And then like I imagine it in my head. Oh. Oh.
Is always simpler than you think. But yeah. There's your suggestions there. Great animation, just needs to go back into idle. That's the only thing that this animation's missing. That and the head motion. Head motion is very important. But yeah. We are going to be looking forward to seeing what you're going to do with that animation. And with that, that will be the end of our podcast. It would have been stopped with the Hexacool one, but Homeboy got Thanos out the server. Damn, hate to see it. Anyway, thank you for joining into the podcast, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed all the what?
Animation critique. Don't get banned.
Oh yeah, pro tip: don't get banned.
Don't get banned. Makes me really worry about, promoting you as a person too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I'm excited for the next few after this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens next episode.
They're all pretty
Yeah,
clear.
I see it now. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I just recognized the artist for this. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining in the podcast. Everybody, glad you joined in and heard us ramble for like an hour. We had some laughs. We had some advice. It was just all types of good fun for everybody.
Before we end the episode,
Yes.
note: A Sprite is free if you get its older version or you compile it yourself. Compiling is a tedious job and might take a long time to do, but it's worth it once you got the software.
Yeah.
Otherwise, please support it. And I'm also gonna plug this in because I'm also working on a sprite software myself. And check out Pixelorama. It's also a good sprite software.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
End card.
Yeah. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Be sure to check in on the next one next week. We'll give more tips and tricks as this one. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.
Remember to shine your way and reach your dreams. Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple.
Peace out, everybody.
고기 높은 요구가고 이가 높은 요구비 고브헤게 나고 고기 높은 요구가고 이가
Oh, okay.